So I was using, I think, tretinoin for almost... Be your best, you can do it, be your best. Bio means beauty in Japanese. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hello! And if you're coming back, thank you. So today I'm gonna tell you about how I got my skin from this to looking like this. But before I do that, let me introduce myself. So my name is Laura and I've been living in Japan for 10 years. And this year I passed the Japanese cosmetic license test. Basically what that means is that I learned about this in Japanese and then I passed the test. So I want to use that information to help you be your best. Yeah, I want to get right to the nitty gritty. Oh, before I get into the video, there is just one thing that I do want to mention, and that is that I have my YesStyle code. So if you don't have anybody else's creator code, affiliate code that you're going to be using, and you would like to purchase something from YesStyle with a little bit of discount and help me get a little bit of kickback, then you can use this code BOBEST9. You can use the link down in the description box below, and yeah, that'll help out the channel. But as always, let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out between these two pictures, a big difference is the lighting, okay? So on the first picture, I think it was definitely darker than in the second picture, so that would definitely aid in making one look more dull than the other. And then some other things are different. The angle is different. Also in the picture from this year, the first picture, by the way, is from 2021, so that's 3 years ago. The picture that I took the other day is from 2024 this year, so there's 3 years in between this picture. So yeah, again, for full transparency, I did have a light flashing in my face, and then I also did put a little bit of this shitaji or makeup base by Sananameraka Honpo before I did the rest of my makeup, and the rest was just eyes, lips, and cheeks, but that's about it. So first I'm going to tell you about some of the types of products that I feel that helped me most on my skincare journey, and then I'm going to tell you about the habits I feel that helped me most on my skincare journey. So first up, the types of products. Number one is retinoids. And so I used a lot of retinoids. I think since 2022, that's when I started on my retinol journey. My first retinol that I used, which was the Innisfree Shika retinol, and I feel like that was the product that after I saw that, then I started seeing a lot of retinol, more retinol in K-beauty, and probably retinols and stuff. I know retinol existed in K-beauty before then, but I feel like my theory is that it kind of like was popularized a little bit to the masses, and then I would see it pop up everywhere. All these different brands were doing, oh my gosh, retinol. So yeah, that was something that I saw, and that was the first retinol that I used. From then I would use different types of retinols up until I was using tretinoin, and I was using tretinoin the 0.5%. And if you want me to do a video separately on retinols and my retinol road journey, then please let me know in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you sometime this century. I'm doing my best, okay? So I was using, I think, tretinoin for it's been almost a year or so, and I've used different types of tretinoin brands, and I'll put those up here, and I'll try and put the stuff in the description box below. But I definitely think that that is something that has helped me out a lot, because realistically that's the most evidence-based, I believe, skincare ingredient, and I personally feel like I have seen the glow up with it throughout my usage over these past 2 years. Okay, so next up is sunscreen and consistent use of sunscreen. I do not even open my window until I put on sunscreen. Is that a little extreme? I would say so. Maybe don't take it to that extent, but I definitely put on sunscreen, and not only sunscreen, I definitely also use what is it called, like sun protection. So like if it's in the summer, I'll usually have like a hat on. If it's like, sometimes I'll have the, hats like this. I don't know what these are, caps? Is that a cap? Yeah. So my friend, very lovely friend, she gave me a cap that I use all the time, and I like it because it has a little space for my bun and just my hair in general, so I use that. But then aside from that, I'll also use just hats that I bought in Daiso. I'm out there with an umbrella, okay? And I was out there with an umbrella when I went to Miami, because I'm not gonna let you, and you're looking at me like I'm crazy walking around with a parasol. That means it's for the sun. I'm not gonna let that stop me from protecting me from the sun. Shh. So yeah, I be out there even in Miami is what I'm trying to say. In Japan, I definitely feel like more and more people, because there's been an increase in people learning more about skincare and the effects of the sun and stuff on not just aging. There's not so much, realistically, there's not so much talk about skin cancer. Mostly it's about aging here, which I think is a very interesting thing. But anyway, 10 years ago, I remember I would see the ladies out there with their umbrellas, and I was like, oh no, look at them. I was judging them. I was that person in Miami that judged me, and I was judging them. And now I'm one of them. So just know, sometimes you become what you hate. So yeah, sunscreen and sun protection. And then last, with regards to ingredients, I guess it would just be moisture, and I focus very heavily on moisture. And one thing that I almost always try to have in all of my routines is ceramides. I always generally try to have a product that has some kind of ceramides in it, because ceramides, right on the topmost layer, are the bricks, and then in between the fatty, I don't know if it's intercellular or intracellular, that's the stuff that's in between the bricks. So if you don't have enough, then they show, it always looks like the bricks are kind of shaky. But essentially, if you don't have that, the mortar well set in between the bricks, or you don't have enough of that, then you're gonna have transepidermal water loss, you're gonna have a lot of moisture loss, and then that will help your skin to look, well, dry. So yeah, that is one ingredient that generally speaking, I try to have in most of my skincare products. I'll put here which products it is that I was like, okay, these had ceramides, and I was very focused. And then even one time I doubled up and I had the Wish Trends, which is a K-beauty brand. They were doing like a giveaway and I signed up for it, and then I actually got one of the bottles. So I was using that, the Sarah Care Barrier, something like that. And I believe that from the most recent video by Tanaka, I'll be watching you, girl, if you ever see this. Hi. So in her most recent video, I believe that she said that she heard word on the street was that they're not selling that anymore, so that might not exist anymore. But I was using that, and at the same time I was using the Kea Sera, Japanese brand by Roto Seyaku, Roto Pharmaceuticals. I'm always talking about these guys. And yeah, so I was doubling up even on ceramides in the winter, because my skin is, as Tina Tanaka Harris always says, dry and dehydrated. I would say as dry and dehydrated as it comes. So I'm like, give me the mortar, I need it. But I do think that has helped keep my skin barrier intact and just help my skin stay healthier and, keep its whatever youthful glow. And then these are some things that are not necessarily like products, but things that I'm like, okay, I definitely feel like this has helped my skin. So these next two things are things that I have been doing since I first started my skincare journey, and then the last three things are things that are more recent, so I wouldn't be able to speak on them 100%, but we gon' get to it. So first is gentleness, and what I mean by gentleness is, and if you've watched my channel, you know that I always mention that Japanese JBeauty influencers, but also even Japanese dermatologists, they mention to not go in on your face. Just don't go ham, just be like, what is it called? Trying to reorganize your face. This is not Pangea. We're not trying to move the continents to a different place. Like you don't need to do the most. Just be gentle with your face. And I've been doing that for years, and I do feel like it makes a difference, at the very least placebo effect. And I think that that's working. So that's something that I continue to do. And number two, which actually should have been number one, is consistency. And I have been less consistent with my morning routine for sure, and I feel like I noticed that my skin has been drier these past couple of weeks, because sometimes I'll go without putting any skincare on in the morning. Sometimes I'll put on sunscreen because I open the window. Sometimes I don't even put on sunscreen, but I can see it. I feel like I can see the difference when I consistently use a morning and nighttime routine versus when I just do the nighttime routine. But I have done, I believe, the nighttime routine every single time for the past 2 years. It's not always the same routine. As you can see on my IG, I'd be using all the different products and I try to keep up with it. I also have been very inconsistent with keeping up with the products that I use. I usually, before when I started, I would put everything that I used in what order it is that I used. I haven't been doing that recently, but that's fine. I've still been consistent with my skincare routine. I definitely think that's the thing that has brought the most change. I've been consistent with my skincare routine. The fact that I do a routine, generally speaking, I use the same products until they either run out, or if I hate it and I want to throw it out the window, then it depends. Like if I hate it, but it doesn't burn or it doesn't like do anything to my skin that feels like it's having any adverse effects, then I'll probably keep using it and I'll just complain about it for the rest of my life. But the theme is still consistency. My skincare routine and Jesus are the only two constants in my life. Everything else is woo. So there's that. And then the next two things, again, are things that I've been doing more recently. And one of them has been strength training and just exercising in general. What I've noticed is, with regards to strength training, so there's this TikTok creator, his name is, I think it's Eviba Carter. I'm gonna put his video here.
This is skincare.
So you can see he talked about how they did a study on how strength training compared to cardio. Strength training, the group of people who did strength training for whatever period of time it is that they designated on the study, that they had increased dermal thickness. The dermis layer, that's the second layer. You have the epidermis and then you have the dermis. The dermis layer, that's where we have the collagen, that's where we have the elastin. So that's where you get that bounciness and that firminess. firminess. Yeah, so he said that, and I remember when he said that, I was like, dang, I really want to do that. And for months I did not do anything, I just thought about it. And now I'm in a situation where I am working on my health and I am working out consistently. But yeah, so they have actual studies that show that the yusanso undo or the cardio didn't increase dermal thickness, but the strength training did. So as much as I don't like it, strength training I think will help with that in the long run. How quickly, I don't remember. I'll just put a picture here of the results. I don't remember what the details were, and I don't know necessarily. I just started working out seriously in sorry if you hear something, it's 5 o'clock and then they just put music. So because I've only been working out from July, I don't think that I've had necessarily an exorbitant amount of like dermal thickness growth over the past 2 months. But I think that over the long term, that in combination with tretinoin usage, which I believe that tretinoin also helps to increase the dermal thickness, like I'm gonna be looking like a dang pillow at some point. So let's go. Yeah, and then another thing that I've noticed is that I've also increased my just activity levels in general. My yusanso is cardio, and what I've noticed is that when I work out, oh surprise surprise, you sweat. I don't sweat profusely, but even just like walking, like even if I don't like sweat, like I'll notice a sheen on my face. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm dry and dehydrated, so I have low moisture and I also have low sebum levels. But I could see when I walk that I have a little bit of a sheen on my face, and so having that layer, that little bit of oil produced by my face, like I feel like the factories are over there like just trying to make oil. They're like, oh my gosh, the body's heating up, come on, let's get a little bit of oil. And then but that helps to protect your face. Like the acid mantle is made of, you know, different ingredients and stuff on your skin. I think it's like triglycerides, and you have other kind of sebum, yeah, like different things that make up the acid mantle, but one of those is also sweat. But yeah, I feel like definitely working out has helped with that, if that makes any sense. And then the last two things are diet related, and then because I've been working out and I'm trying to gain more muscle, then I've been eating also a lot more protein. And actually I watched, look, we're gonna get real personal right quick. I don't know if you can tell, but I have 3C hair, so my hair is a little bit, you know, it's the curly whirly, and I don't wash it every day, and sometimes I go a little bit longer than I should without washing it. And so I washed my hair the other day for the first time, and a time that I probably shouldn't be admitting on the internet. But anyway, the point is that I washed it, and when I washed it, even though like if you've gone for a while without washing your hair, you'll know that you'll have knots and not gnats, you'll have like knots and stuff in your hair. But even after having removed all of the knots, my hair felt thicker, which I'm always like, how? Because I believe it's just like, it's dead like proteins, right? Or yeah, like keratin, and it's not necessarily alive, but it felt so much thicker, and I was like, wow, that's wild. And yeah, just eating more protein, I feel like it's like even your skin, right? These amino acids I believe are the building blocks of protein. So if you get good protein in the diet, I feel like that will translate also into my skin. So that is just something that I'm doing. And then the last thing is also that I'm eating a lot less processed foods, and that's not to say I don't love processed foods. I haven't been eating that, and even like stuff, even not just like necessarily not eating out as much, but also just the foods that I cook at home. I have been buying whole foods and making food myself. So I have been doing that for the past, again, since like July, and I definitely feel like that has helped with my skin in general, because I'm not taking in as much like added sugars and things like that, and I'm also hopefully getting antioxidants and things like that from the foods it is that I'm eating, which, you know, antioxidants will help to fight the oxidation that we face all the time from absolutely everything. And so yeah, I'm hoping, I feel in my heart that it helps out with my skin. So at the very least, placebo. The things that I would say that have helped my skin go from this to closer to this over these past 3 years is retinoid usage, consistent retinoid usage, consistent sunscreen usage, consistent moisturization, and with a lot of focus on ceramides. Amino acids are also a good ingredient to have though, and just consistency overall. And then with regards to habits, I would say gentleness, which is something that I have been doing from even before 2 years ago. And then with regards to newer habits, I believe will continue to help my skin to stay fun and great are things like strength training, which has science proving that it's pretty good and helps increase dermal thickness, and then things like eating more protein and eating less processed foods. But yeah, so that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, again, remember to leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, it's been a while. YesStyle de gozaimasu. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, please do leave a like and consider subscribing so that you can get more updates when I put out more videos once a blue moon. Anyway, as always, I hope you have a good day. Remember, God bless and be your best.